Hey, it's Arife, here with Resto Druid tips, tricks, and kicks for the Halls of Atonement dungeon in Season 3 of The War Within. Most tanks go left here, so I'll be making my starting recommendations based on this. I like to put 2 life blooms on DPS just before the end of the countdown, then prowl until I get about midway across the pathway here. Then, as the tank is crossing, give them a stampeding roar so they can get to the next mobs quickly. Try and grab one of the first melee interrupts here, since you have likely a faster movement speed than others. As the tank is gathering everything up on this platform, refresh those life blooms and apply regrowths to everyone. Throw out some additional rejuves if you have time. Then you are going to rotate through your cooldowns for every thrash. I like to use my trinket, Bloom's Living Silk, first, if I still need more time to put hots on everyone. Then, as the thrash is going out, Wild Growth and Spot Heal with regrowths. Keep your hots up for each thrash and use a cooldown. Tranquility and Convoke will get you through other thrashes with other hots rolling. Try to make sure you put your Vortex down when the Toiling Groundskeeper adds get to about 35%. You can also have an Entangle ready for rogue groundskeepers who manage to escape the hold of Vortex. Other important mobs in this poll you must lust on include Depraved Darkblade, that puts a stacking debuff on the tank that should be occasionally dispelled. Don't dispel this on cooldown though. Dispelling the Depraved Obliterators, Mark of Obliteration, is very important. It can insta-kill those it expires on if they don't take a defensive. Do your best to rotate your dispel through. You can put Ironbark on someone if you feel like you need to let the debuff expire on them. Try to dispel the tank at around 9 to 10 stacks. The Obliterator also casts Wicked Bolt. Try to interrupt 1 or 2 of these in each Hycus pull. The Hycus is the mob putting out the big AoE thrash. They also cause Sinquake, spawning a circle under each player. This is the prio target every time a Hycus is pulled. The Depraved Collector casts Siphon Life. I like to save Incap Roar or Typhoon for them. There is also the Houndmaster and Gargans. The Houndmaster has a spirit bond with the Gargans, and if Loyal Beasts is not interrupted, the Gargans will enrage, growing like 3 times the size. They can be soothed if Loyal Beasts does not get interrupted. The Gargans enraged can be a little dangerous for the tank because they do stack a bleed on the tank. Watch the tank's health if the Gargans do manage to get enraged. The Houndmaster is also constantly shooting at random players. Shoots start to hurt around 15 to 16 keys, so be aware of that ongoing damage. Getting shot twice in a row without any healing can cause deaths. Just some advice for the second Hycus pull. Ask to see your tank's route before the key and make sure you ask to do a pull before the second Hycus. This will ensure your healing cooldowns are back up before the second Hycus. You'll want to tread carefully around those Stoneborn Slashers unless your tank pulls them on purpose. When they are not stone, they can be pulled by groundskeepers who run over to them. Prepare yourself to entangle if a mob gets nearby and your tank hasn't pulled them on purpose. The slasher does a knockback on the tank as well as a frontal. Make sure you aren't casting during disrupting a screech. I like to use bear form during the screech since I can't do any healing during that moment anyway. The first boss can be pulled once all the Hycuses are dead. Bait circles towards the back of the arena or near other circles. Make sure everyone is healed up to full between each damage pulse. Watch beams, and you can send some DPS convokes. Make sure you hold convoke though if the boss is low, so you can have it for the first pull after the first boss. This pull is probably the most dangerous in the dungeon. Hold lust on the first boss in favor of having lust up for this pull. I like to put my vortex down as soon as the tank has all the ankle biter mobs gathered. Then you need to start pumping HPS. Hot everyone up, move your life bloom around as needed. The DPS really need to keep the Obliterator interrupted on this pull because the ankle biters leap at random players, reducing their movement speed and putting a stacking bleed on them. There will come a point where you aren't able to move very much. When choosing where to stand on this pull, try to situation yourself just outside of where the Reaver's 8-foot radius stun circle is. Use Incap Roar to help CC the ankle biters here as the stun circle is going out, and it will be easier for everyone to move again. You may need to send 2 healing cooldowns here, or 3 if the DPS on the ankle biters is low. You won't need any big cooldowns again. Watch your tank health here because some of the Reavers do a tank buster. You may need to Ironbark the tank. Make sure you use Bark Skin on yourself as well when you feel like it would be helpful. There may be another pull after this with Groundskeepers. Watch their health and try to put your Vortex down again when they are at about 35% health. They start running at 30%, but that 5% is gone fast. Again, watch to see if you need to entangle any of the wandering Groundskeepers to prevent them from pulling unnecessary mobs. Second boss seems easy, but there are a surprising number of one-shot mechanics. The boss casts Blood Torrent, which causes a red puddle to spawn under a random player. Try to bait these puddle spawns near other puddles to prevent the entire arena from being covered, but also get out of the circle as soon as it spawns because it will one-shot you. The boss then uses Stone Call, which summons 6 adds. Stack near boss and let the tank get aggro on these so they will continue to cast on them. Skull Bash any adds that seem to get stuck far away from the boss. Killing these adds causes each add to explode. If all the adds die at the same time, you should take a personal defensive. If you have Lumithar's Living Silk up, you can send it right before the adds die. I have some macros that say take a defensive or use Mage Barrier for the times when all adds die that I don't have a trinket up. Use Iron Bark or Bear Form if you need to. Then someone is targeted with Flesh to Stone, which slows a player and then stuns them. Make sure if you're targeted, you move over the adds, since the bosses leaping at you will destroy any adds and prevent them from regenerating. If this is the case and you're targeted, you can use Barkskin and Bear Form. Stay out of the circle if you are not targeted, since those in the circle will take a heavy dot that you need to heal. Put Life Bloom and other hots on the target. The pull after second boss isn't too bad on keys under 16. There is a new mob called the Eviscerator. They will hurl glaive at an undisclosed target. Hurl glaive is especially dangerous alongside all of the shoots in this pull, so at keystones level 17 plus, keep everyone topped up as much as possible, and cycle through those healing cooldowns. Try to spread on this pull as well, because Hurl Glaive will cleave to nearby players. Third boss, High Adjudicator Elise, will send out a debuff to 2 players called Unstable Anima that needs to be dispelled on cooldown. Those who are not dispelled should spread away from other players and they will need heavy healing on them. Use Iron Bark if needed. Move your Life Bloom around to whoever you dispel last, and take a defensive like Barkskin if you dispel yourself last. I like to bait the fiery circles from Anima Fountain in between 2 fountains, so if when you are targeted by Spectral Procession, the ghosty add, that the fountain is clear of fire. For each second the ghosty is out, you take more AoE damage. So it's important for them to be escorted to nearby fountains quickly. Use your cooldowns as needed. My approach to Inquisitor Seagar is mainly to heal. I put my Vortex down as adds are drawn in. The manifestations of envy can do significant damage to whoever they are pursuing, so make sure everyone has hots on them. As the boss is healing back up, if you can afford it, do a DPS Convoke to try and help this mini die faster. You can also Typhoon the adds away from you if you are getting pursued. If you make it to the last boss, it's an easy finish. Lord Chamberlain here will do 4 kinetic tosses, dodge it and do some DPS. Heal people up with some small hots in between tosses. He does a frontal that's easy to dodge. Just before the boss hits 70 and 40%, start hotting people up, and the boss will pull all statues towards himself. Starting on 16s, you should take a defensive before the statues are thrown away from the boss, as this does a very big pulse of damage. You can also send your Loom Trinket there to help the group. Watch where other players are standing and put yourself in between the boss and a statue if you need to absorb a channel. Use your Convokes to DPS because this boss is barely a healer challenge. I hope you learned a little bit about how you can use your Resto Druid toolkit to heal this dungeon. Like and subscribe for more Resto Druid content.